entered his artistry glass shop. So please welcome to the stage glass artist John Wakefield.
So my customer was a lady of a certain age, we used to say in England, a lady called Dorothy, recently retired from Chicago, and retired to Dove Mountain up in Tucson, and she came into artistry and glass looking for stained glass. And Dorothy was extraordinarily enthusiastic. I love stained glass. In my house in Chicago was full of glass. I can't do without stained glass. I said, well, you've come to the correct place, Dorothy. We have been in business for 27 years. We met as a local first, Arizona. Everything we do here is done right in the back of the shop. And what sort of design would you like? Would you by any chance like a Southwestern design? I said, I hate Southwest. Well, Dorothy, you come from Chicago. How about maybe a Frank Lloyd Wright design, a prairie design, a beautiful mission? I hate Frank Lloyd Wright. I said, well, what about, I'm kind of getting slightly concerned now, but I pull another choice out of the back. How about a floral design? Bring back the enchanting, fragrant memories of your childhood and growing up. I hate flowers. So I said, well, Dorothy, I tell you what, we found it more productive, and generally we advance more speedily if you concentrate on telling me what you do like, rather than what you don't like. So she said to me, she turned around and said, I know what I like, and what I always say is, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. So I said, well, Dorothy, John Keats said that, but he only said it once. So she wasn't at all phased by this literary illusion. She span around and she pointed to a piece of glass on display, a beautiful piece of beige stained glass. She said, I'm a very, very visual person. What is that colour called? I said, well, Dorothy, I don't know why I did it. I just can't believe I fell into this trap. I'm so naive, you know. I said, well, that's beige, Dorothy. She said to me, that's not beige. So right away I realised that this individual had not come in for stained glass. She'd come in for an argument. And you remember the Monty Python argument clinic? This wasn't going to be a 5-minute argument. This would be the 4-hour argument. At least I know I'm battling. What am I going to do? I go in the back and I say, well, Claire, you've got to help me with this customer. She can't think of a design. She said to me, you're the artist, you come up with a design. I said, there's millions. In fact, there's more than millions. There's an infinite number. I'm obsessed now with these terrible feelings of infinity. There are more designs than the number of grains of sand on all the beaches and all the seas of the world. There are more designs than the number of stars in all the galaxies in the universe. And I've got to come up with them for this. We said, it would be nice. You've got to be nice to the customers. I am nice. You remember that all the Hispanic cleaning ladies, you repair stuff for next to nothing. I know. I can do this for poorer people, but I can't stand this self-indulgence. Whenever I see this, I keep thinking of all the AIDS victims in sub-Saharan Africa. I keep trying to equate this with the famine victims in Sudan. She said, get real here, you've got to think of something. I said, well, she said, you are nice. What about the guy who came in for the wedding glass? I said, that's true. The young man came in, we do the most beautiful etching in town. We engrave wedding flutes for glasses for weddings. And this young man, Jose, he said, look, I want to put my name, my bride, and my name on the glass. I said, right, Jose, what's your fiancée called? He said, Selena. So well, that's great, we'll put the name and the date on. How do you spell Selena? He said, whoa, am I in trouble? I can't remember how to spell my fiancée's name. I'm done for, what am I going to do? I said, well, hold on a second. I said, what is your Selena's telephone number? So I called him and said, hey, Selena, Jose just left our shop, and he's a wonderful young man. He has chosen some wonderful wine glasses for your wedding. but I can't quite read his handwriting. Would you mind telling me how you... And this guy, he was my friend for life. You are a wonderful person, be nice. I said, well, I'm desperate, Claire. I might have to use the CADS strategy. He said, CADS? I said, yeah, that's when a customer has counterproductive attention to detail syndrome. So Claire said, well, is it effective? I said, well, to be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't entirely an unqualified success the last time I tried it. He said, what did you do? I said, well, the woman wound up slamming her handbag on the table and yelling at me. He said, I'm never going to come here again, and leaving the shop, slamming the door after her. She said, well, what did you say? I said, well, this was a customer who spent hours and hours agonizing on the color of the metal bathroom fixtures for her shower door. And as you know, we do beautiful hand-etched glass shower doors. And then the customer select whether they want chrome or polished chrome or brushed chrome. So this particular individual lady was so obsessed with the finish, she didn't know whether she wanted brushed nickel, antique brushed nickel, polished nickel, or... And I said, look, in the end, I could not believe it. I just, a red flash came in my eyes. I couldn't control myself. I said, look, would you describe yourself as a rather fastidious or detail-oriented person? Claire said, was that when she left the shop? No, I think it might have been my follow-up question. She said, which was, well, I said, I placed my hand on hers. I gazed at her with a compassionate stare. I said, have you considered psychological counseling? I said, Claire, you've got to help me. I'm done for it. He said, you go out there. You're so good with customers, a woman's touch. I said, well, what about the incident with the wedding? I said, well, everybody can make an error. You did make one then. So I said, you were stuck with that. This is a technical term for a bride. It's called a bridezilla. And it's one of those females who believes that her own wedding is the most important event in the history of the universe. Claire's out there, and she has spent hours trying to decide the font that's required on these glasses. She's gone through Zap, Chancery, Murray, Hill, Bold, Old English, Gothic, and in the end, I can hear Claire's voice raised, and suddenly I was deafening, sobbing, and unbelievable, inconsolable crying on her face, handing Kleenexes to this woman. I said, what did you say? She said, well, I was so fed up with all this choosing of fonts. I said, I don't know why you're worried about the lettering. In 2 months, you're going to be divorced. I said, well, you go up there anyway. I tell you what we'll do. Try and figure out what colour this woman wants. So I said, and don't come to any conclusions here, but notice that she's wearing purple earrings with fuchsia spots on them. And maybe you can also observe she has a fuchsia scarf, a purple top, fuchsia pants, purple shoes with fuchsia spots. So Claire goes up and I hear this yelling going on. That's not beige, this kind of thing, you know. And eventually comes back and she says, great, I found the colour she likes, I love it. So what's the number? I said 308 3B. I said, I'll get right onto the wholesaler in Phoenix. I'll find out if it's available. I said, Jim, I've got a customer here, she wants some 384B. I said, by the way, what colour is that? I said, well, that is purple with fuchsia spots. Oh, great. He says, it's bad news, it's out of stock, it's come back, we're going to have it. We can't get it for at least 2 years. I'm done for, I come on the front, my head is spinning, honestly. I said, Dorothy, the glass is back, although we can't get it. I'm awfully sorry, she says. I must have it. I can't do without this glass. I've got to have it. And then suddenly, I don't know what happened, but I realised I was dealing with a difficult problem, what Samuel Beckett referred to as faulty upbringing during the formative years. Spoiled rotten. It wasn't enough fun. Something came over me. I don't know how it happened. I looked her in the eye and I said, Dorothy, when you were a little girl, did your daddy ever tell you that you couldn't have exactly what you want? And it was unbelievable. I just hit this nerve somehow. It was like the picture of Dorian Gray in reverse. The wrinkles evaporated in front of me, and I was left with a face of a 5-year-old spoiled child with a lip sticking out. And she said, yes, my daddy did tell me that. I said, well, Dorothy, I'm going to tell you what you really want. I know what you need. I've analysed your interior design plan. I'm going to select a glass that will be jewellery for your home. You will be the envy of all your neighbours and relatives. This is the glass you need. And she said, John, you're wonderful. I love it. Artistry glass, it's fantastic. And every time I went to a house to install this glass, and all the workmen were carrying it in. The place was full of tradesmen everywhere. It was hot because of no AC. And she was saying, John Wakefield from Artistry and Glass chose this glass. It's the most wonderful glass. He is absolutely marvellous. And in the corner there was a wallpaper sales guy, and he was pulling curtains. And Dorothy said, John is the greatest. He knew exactly what I wanted. I channeled her father. I was using Freudian psychiatry now. And the wallpaper guy was sweating, and Dorothy was saying, I hate Southwest. And I was going like this. And finally, the fateful words, I can't believe it. She said, what colour do you call that? And the guy said, beige. And she said, that's not beige.